I'm done with this president. I'm going to go public supporting impeachment. I have no choice. He has to go. He has to go. Run again. You'll get your brains beat in.
So that was Roger Stone unloading on former President Donald Trump. Now, look, that was, of course, caught on video, obviously, thanks to the Danish crew that had been following him around to do a documentary. So now Stone had added, and by the way, this is a reason why he was unloading on Trump, saying that Trump had betrayed his friends by not giving them preemptive pardons, and that he deserved to be impeached, and that he had made the single greatest mistake in American history, and even said, quote, "A good long sentence in prison will give him a chance to think about it because the Southern District is coming for him," and he did nothing. That was all on Biden's inauguration day, after Trump had failed to steal the election and was soon going to be impeached for what happened on January 6th. So now the Washington Post was able to get this video from this Danish film crew. There will be a upcoming documentary. And so already it looks pretty bad. Now look, Trump, of course, was not able to hold on to power. That's why he's so mad, why Roger Stone is so mad. And again, didn't do those pardons. Now, this is part of something they called the Stone Plan. So what's the Stone Plan? Well, let me give you the details. Now, the Stone Plan called for Trump to preemptively pardon Republican senators Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, Representative Matt Gaetz, and Jim Jordan, all of whom tried on January 6th to delay or block the certification of Biden's victory. And of course, there are others as well. Now, Stone's plan proposed a pardon for, get this, and this is a very, very interesting link here. You may remember us talking about former Seminole County, Florida tax collector Joel Greenberg, who had been indicted on charges that included the sex trafficking of a child. Yes, that Joel Greenberg. So now, oh look, we're related. Now Roger Stone seems to be connected with what's going on with Representative Matt Gaetz and Joel Greenberg. Interesting, very interesting. Gee, I wonder why you would want those pardons. The previous month, by the way, Greenberg had written to Stone to ask for help securing a pardon. Obviously, as they discussed a potential $250,000 fee, according to the Daily Beast, who had reported this earlier. Now, of course, Stone had been running a little side hustle, and that's why people were offering him money for him to lobby for those pardons. He was selling pardon requests. Now, of course, there was no guarantee that he was going to get these people pardons. I think everybody knew that. But nonetheless, Stone said that he would try and then get their money. In fact, here's a little bit of video of a conversation they had had about these pardons.
So here's the deal with Henry. You know, he's hugely successful now.
Yep.
And he would be willing to pay up to $100,000. We'd have to do it. Everything would have to be legal.
Of course. Well, actually, that is legal, but if I didn't have a really good chance of getting this done, I wouldn't take the money, in all honesty. A lot of people in this business would, but I wouldn't. I got a meeting over there this afternoon. I'm going to have a little bit of input into the final list. It's certainly worth a shot, you know?
I mean, if I couldn't do it, I wouldn't take your money. Other people would. Oh, really? I have a hard time believing that, but okay. All right. So now, look, none of this is actually criminal. It sounds very strange, but apparently taking money to try to lobby for the president for pardons Perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. Very, very strange. And also just incredibly dirty. No guarantee. No guarantee of a pardon. And this is under any president. But when you're dealing with Trump, it's even more of a wild card. In fact, Stone had to remind Donald Trump that he had asked for names of clemency candidates who had been, quote, persecuted because of their support for Trump. Interesting. Now, Stone's pardon wish list also included Michael Sessa and Victor Orena, former members of the Colombo crime family. Yes, the crime family, serving life sentences for murder and racketeering. The best people. The greatest people. Wow. Wow. Their attorney, David Schoen, who has also represented Stone, by the way, Stone told the filmmakers that he had hoped to persuade Trump to hire Schoen to represent him in his Senate impeachment trial on charges of inciting insurrection. Schoen, of course, he took that job. He began advising Trump. And by the way, Stone had said on that, quote, all that pardon stuff is easy. So there's some referrals here. And of course, the hopes that, hey, look, you represent Trump at the trial. Trump gives those people a pardon, the crime family, and everybody works out. Everybody's happy, right? Now, of course, Schoen delivered because you had that impeachment trial. And again, Trump did not get, did not get removed. Went through the trial, got acquitted by the Senate, as expected. Schoen did his end of the deal, but no pardons came. No pardons came. Now, Schoen also told Stone in a text exchange on January 18th that Trump had called him again, but was hesitant to commit to those pardons. Quote, he started to go down that road, but stopped, adding that Trump sees that he is stymied by someone else, Sip, referring to White House counsel Pat Cipollone, who had objected to some of these preemptive pardons. So there actually was somebody in the White House who saw these preemptive pardons for what they were and was like, no, I'm not at all interested in this. You should not do this. And it's because look at how the optics were. Pretty bad. The optics were terrible. Now, Stone's priority, however, was protection for himself as well as his friend Bernard Kerik, who had previously been pardoned by Trump for felonies including tax fraud before he had worked on the effort to overturn the election. So once again, criminals of a feather crime together. The best people, the greatest people. And again, it kind of really shows you how the people around Trump were a lot like, and Trump himself basically was running like a mob boss. And literally, you had people who were trying to get the mob boss to pardon other mobsters. Insane. But anyway, Stone told Schoen later in the same exchange, quote, at this point, I'd be happy if you pardoned me and Kerik again. Again, we're talking preemptive pardons here. And said that Trump would take no heat for it whatsoever, as this would be the second pardon. But time is running out, Schoen replied. Now, Kerik told Bernie Kerik told the Post that he did not know about Stone's effort to pardon him preemptively and did not need a pardon because, well, I didn't do anything wrong. What are you talking about? I did nothing wrong. Why would I need a pardon? The following afternoon, Schoen sent Stone a link to a new CNN report saying that Trump had been talked out of issuing these pardons. The Stone plan, they said, had failed. He was angry. Schoen complained that this was a free home run that could have saved a lot of loyal lives. Again, talking about the mob stuff, that's loyalty. They value that above all. He also lamented the president's refusal to pardon the former Colombo crime family members, noting that they were, quote, vocal Trump supporters. Who cares about the crime? Murder, they're Trump supporters. They were loyal. They were very loyal. But it wasn't just that pissed off Roger Stone. No. It wasn't just about who didn't get pardoned, but it was about who did. On January 19th, Donald Trump had pardoned none other than Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was under indictment of federal fraud charges, for the whole stealing Trump supporters' money for their fake Rebuild the Wall project, where he had bragged about stealing their money and buying Lamborghinis and shit on a yacht. Yeah. So, that decision enraged Stone, who called Bannon a quote-unquote grifter scumbag. Oh, I love it when they fight. God, I love it when they fight. And 2 expletives while he was filmed. Stone then ranted to Alejandro about Jared Kushner. So it turns out he also blamed Jared Kushner for the failure of the Stone plan. Apparently, Kushner had a hand in talking Donald Trump out of doing these pardons. So now, here's what he said about Kushner. Quote, in 2 weeks, he's moving to Miami. He's going to get a beating. He needs to have a beating. It needs to be told, this time we're just beating you. Next time, we're killing you. Now, Alejandro, this is in front of the filmmakers, by the way. So Alejandro's like, whoa, hey, you're just joking, right? You're just joking, right? You're just joking, right? Here's what Stone said in response to that. Quote, no, it isn't joking. Not joking. It's not a joke. Oof. Stone also told Tom that Scipione was a target and that he would spend money to dox him, which he did not do. He then went after Trump. After ending the call, he turned to the filmmakers, by the way, after the clip that I showed you earlier, and said, quote, obviously, if you use any of that, I'll murder you. What a classy guy. Just real stable. What do you expect from this dude? Now, Stone, what's interesting here, and sort of the fallout from this, because this is an interesting story, but what does it mean for the future, right? Well, right now, Roger Stone publicly supports Donald Trump for 2024. Donald Trump's running again. He's like, full support. Now, why is that? I think it's because this guy thinks that he can get something from Donald Trump. That's generally, again, there are two types of people that hang around Trump. There's the people who Trump thinks he can use, right? And then there are those who think that they can use Donald Trump. So now, obviously, Roger Stone had miscalculated when he thought that he could get preemptive pardons, but he didn't miscalculate when he himself had received the first pardon. So obviously, he's making this calculation to think, what can I get from a Donald Trump 2024 victory? Again, assuming that he wins, right? What can he get from it? That's something that only Roger Stone can answer. But you can see how he really feels about Donald Trump and what his goals seem to be. And that's, of course, self-preservation and elevation any way that he can. And so what makes that a little bit more difficult now is that you've got this tape. And if this makes it to Donald Trump, that's going to make things very uncomfortable. A little awkward, perhaps. So that's why he did not want that tape getting out. Unfortunately for them, for him, for Roger Stone, the tape is out, and the documentary will be soon. And so we're going to have to see what happens and what kind of reaction, if Donald Trump even sees this. Because there is a chance that some of the advisors, some people close to Roger Stone and Donald Trump, will find some way to attempt to block this from Trump seeing it. We'll have to see.